My name is Maurice Washington. I want to welcome everybody to another episode of Executive Talk. Those that are watching on live TV, those that are watching on Facebook or on YouTube, thank you so much for joining in. Remember, on Facebook and also on YouTube, those are two opportunities for us to interact. So if you have questions, if something strikes you, you want to interact and leave a comment, please feel free to do that. We want to make sure that all your questions and concerns are always represented on those opportunities, and we can make sure that we communicate with you, because this is about us. This is about me. This is about you. This is about the people that you're serving, and this is just about, most importantly, God's Word. And so let me go ahead and jump right into this, because again, we're on the series of Your Customer Service Says It All. Now, what we've been learning throughout the series is bigger than just your regular overall customer service day to day. One thing about customer service is we all have our particular concept or idea as to what customer service really is, what it means. And customer service is always in the eyes of the beholder. How do I see customer service? Customer service is something that has been there way before us. One thing that we had spoke about before is that as business owners and as people, we think that we have created the new way of customer service. Customer service is nothing new, but it's very deep. And that's one of the things, just to be transparent, that's been really challenging about this learning experience I've been going through as far as teaching it, is understanding the depths of customer service. Because it's bigger than just making sure that your customers are okay and that you're on call 24 hours, however your business is set up. But it's bigger than that. Because as business owners and also as employees, there's something that becomes, that we miss the boat. One thing about business ownership is we get all consumed with everything that we have going on. It's very hard to actually really, truly meet the words of customer service. So that's what we're addressing today. And because it's very challenging, the enemy does know that it's very challenging for us. One thing that we do know about the enemy, he loves the cracks in our lives. He loves our lack of knowledge. In those lacks of knowledge, and also in that place of those cracks that we hold personally, this is where that John 10:10 comes into play. The thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. Steal, kill, and destroy. Three primary things the enemy is looking for. And it's always in the cracks, and again, our lack of knowledge. And our lack of knowledge about customer service is where this show comes into play. What is it? How deep is it? And how far does it go? How many people are affected because of customer service? As we learned in our previous shows, it is a very personal thing. This becomes like a childhood experience. Some of the challenges you may have with your parents or whatnot, there was a lack of customer service that you felt that you missed. That became the issue. And that's the thing that we need to understand, is that there's a depth to this customer service. Because one thing about business owners is we feel like, oh, well, we have a great product, we're selling it, people are calling us, and people are leaving great reviews, and all those things are really good. But is your internal office functioning well? Are people happy to come to work? Is there chaos? Is there things going on? And that's what we're going to explore a little bit deeper in this show. In conjunction with our last show, what we did learn is that business ownership, we come with the speed into business ownership. There is the pace that we get into business ownership. We're ready to do it, and we just kind of go. But we're lacking that level of customer service, and we bring that lack of understanding of customer service into our new development, which is your business. So what does the enemy come, steal, and destroy? First of all, it always starts with you. You are the catalyst. Also, if you're an employee, it does start with you also. Because everybody has a piece of the pie to the relationship together. The enemy loves the fact that there's this many people in one spot without knowledge, without understanding, with a past, with challenges that they come to the table with. As we alluded to in one of our conversations a long time ago, is that everybody comes to the table with a suitcase. And that suitcase is filled with concerns, stress, the past, the present, worried about the future. That becomes their suitcase that they walk in with. So, you may come into the office with nothing but just yourself and maybe your briefcase, but you got this other virtual suitcase with you of all your life experiences. And so the enemy is very attracted to the situation that you have. He's attracted to the fact of you still don't know you quite well. He loves that. He loves the fact that you don't know you well, because if you don't know you well, how can you truly give all of you? And how can you truly give all of your customer service? That's a concept there. He loves the fact that you have a significant other that depends on you emotionally. Because guess what? If you don't know you, it's hard for your significant other to get to know you and for you to provide really true customer service. Because one thing about having a significant other is that once you get involved, you really understand how much it takes to be involved. It's a lot. It's a day-to-day process. Just as soon as you think you have it, now there's a change that has happened. And what does customer service mean to somebody else when you're struggling with yourself? He loves the fact that you have kids. Oh my goodness. Because now he can start a new generation. He can actually create a situation where your kids get to funnel off the fact that you don't understand where you're at currently, that you're struggling with your significant other and how that relationship is supposed to develop, and the fact that now that you have kids, he loves it. There's a great scenario that's happening. And also, he loves the fact that you're such a great business owner, a great person, that you got employees who now depend on you more. But yet and still, you may not understand truly what do employees actually really need. How much customer service do they need? Do you communicate well? If you don't know you may have some communication challenges. So now that you don't communicate well, now your employees are missing something. Now, he loves the fact that you're getting clients, because there's turmoil that can be extended out, because you can put all your eggs in that basket and not even know that all your love and care is into your clients because they represent a dollar figure. There's something that goes along with this whole scenario. That's what the enemy comes from. The thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. He loves your scenario that you put together because you think it's manageable. Because the way that we see life, and because we miss so many little details, actually not major details, I should say, we build, I guess, a lack of better terms, like a fortress of stuff. Okay? Between your needs, between your significant other, the kids, the employees, the clients, and all those are all people, and they all need something specific. And if you have a lack of knowledge and understanding what people actually truly need, then you're going to miss boats on all 4 of those fronts and all 5 of those fronts. And it's catastrophic. So the first layer of attack is on relationships. He depends on people to get into relationships without knowledge. Without that knowledge, and relationships creates chaos, creates more pain. He loves it. He's looking for that scenario. He's looking for your speed. He's looking for your lust for money, and he's looking for this drive. Because again, in all these scenarios, there's a lack of customer service that's taking place. In order to make the connection with this, I need you to go back to the very first one to actually understand how God sees customer service, to really make this whole connection. But fast forwarding back to where we're at right now, this compartmentalized heart. You know, you'll see it, and you probably had relationships where you say, you know what, I had somebody I was dating, and they just felt like they had a compartmentalized heart. So guys can compartmentalize much better than women can. It's a whole battle of who can compartmentalize better. But guess what? If you're not really understanding who you are, everybody is actually very good at compartmentalizing their heart. And compartmentalizing your heart actually becomes a protection. We need to really understand what compartmentalizing your heart, because when you're in pain, the first thing you do is compartmentalize your heart. So if you have a lack of understanding of something, you're going to compartmentalize that place because you're vulnerable in that place. So this compartmentalized heart is what your feeling is. This is actually a solution to how big and how massive and how you start to understand how much people actually need. It's the only way to actually kind of, and roll with me on this. When I say it's just the only way to get on and keep moving forward, it is the only way when you're having lack of knowledge and you're not understanding the magnitude that you're involved with and what the magnitude of customer service. So if you can compartmentalize your heart, that means you have the ability to compartmentalize the time spent on things. I want you to look at that for a minute. If I compartmentalize my heart, I have now actually learned how to compartmentalize the time spent on these things. So let's take that into a bigger picture here. Just a few seconds ago, we talked about this scenario. Have you ever compartmentalized your heart, your time with any of these entities here? I want you to think about that. If you say yes, you're being very vulnerable and very, very truthful. Because this is a scenario that everybody runs into. And again, this is what business ownership kind of creates its own level of kind of a currency. Because think about it. Where do you spend the majority of your time when you're a business owner or when you're employees? Let's look at the scenario. Now, you can come in and say, well, I spend on the left side. For me, it's my left side. For you, it might be on your right-hand side. But you can say, yeah, I spend a lot of time with my significant other, kids, and myself because, hey, we're around each other all the time, 7 days a week. That's a good way of looking at it. You're right. I understand where you're going with it. But where do you spend a lot of your time throughout the week? Employees. On the work-hand side, don't you? Because now you're trying to honor your word and trying to create something. So a lot of your time is being spent at work. It's being spent on your employees and also on your clients. And somebody's losing. And it's interesting because we don't understand how massive something we've created until we start to see our time. Because our time will start answering a lot of questions. Our time will say how worn out we are. It will create conversations in the house. And we'll talk about that later on. But again, it starts to affect your customer service because your output starts to become affected. And it also starts to be your output in the office space. Because there's some frustration that business owners and people start to feel personally when you actually feel time strapped. And then you start to be that different person. That different person comes from that previous slide of that compartmentalize of your heart. And again, in order to make that work, you got to compartmentalize time spent. It becomes a vicious cycle. And it goes directly into that place of customer service. Did you guys know this fact here? I want you to look at this slide. People require attention, and for attention, it actually equals customer service. Would you agree with that statement? And if you're on Facebook and on YouTube, please answer. Would you agree to that statement? See, we got into a place in this time frame where we think it's okay that this attention is not there. The enemy understands how we actually view time, how we view everything, and the lack of knowledge. And just this fact that people require attention, it equals customer service. Now, you can say, well, yeah, I know people like attention. But again, let's think about it. If you operate from a compartmentalized point of view in operation, do you really understand what that really means? Because one requirement that the enemy actually understands is that he understands that you may not know how much attention because you feel a certain way. Again, everything in life is based on the eyes of the beholder. That's what makes everything really challenging. Because you may feel that, hey, I go to work and I come home every day, so I'm giving a lot of attention. Or I'm the first one at work every day, so I'm giving a lot of attention to my employees. So, I don't know what else they should expect. What, do they want me to walk with them, hold hands with them? Come on, let's be realistic. That's where we go with that. There's a level of compartmentalized that we're even seeing from it, because again, a compartmentalized heart will create compartmentalized time and also create a compartmentalized paradigm. Everything starts to get into your box, the way that you see it. And there creates a level of opportunity of customer service that starts to, because again, once you compartmentalize anything, your customer service starts to go inward. Because now you're the actual judge of how that works. So the compartmentalized heart leaves doubt in the person's life. Just think about that for a minute. Have you ever, and we'll talk about both personal and business because, again, all this counts. Have you ever had that relationship where you're really trying to get connected with that person, really get to know them, but you just really could not seem to grab their attention? You could not really seem to really get an understanding as to where they're at. But when you did spend the time and everything was really good, it was like amazing. But then when you didn't, it was just like, I don't even know if that person really likes me. I'm not even for sure if we're doing this. All right. Now let's take it into the business world for a minute. Have you ever spent time with your employees? You remember that very first is kind of like the honeymoon stage of employment. You get into that first 90 days, you guys are talking. You're so excited about the employee's excited about the company. You're excited about the employee. I mean, it's just a great relationship. Like you never had something like that before. Then all of a sudden, another employee comes back on and everybody gets into their day-to-day life. And all of a sudden, that time is not spent the way that it used to be. Don't you realize that height of that person's relationship when they first got on the company and that communication and the time spent actually created some customer service for them, created loyalty for them because of the customer service? But when it dropped off, do you realize that it left doubt that, did I make the right decision? Was I full of myself? Was it just because I came to a new company? I've done this before. I'm not really for sure. That's the doubt that gets left in people's life when you're around a compartmentalized heart. There's a level of customer service that you cannot provide if your heart is operating from a compartmentalized place. And the enemy loves this because, again, as long as you start leaving doubt in people's heart, you will actually change how they think about life. You will alter their focus. You will start lording your attention over people's life. That's about how deep this customer service thing is. Yes, there is a level of customer service that there's an output, but there's a natural output that we'll talk in the next show. But in this show, it's not natural because you're dealing with too much. There's the magnitude of what you're dealing with is not light at all. And so this scripture comes into play. The enemy loves to put us into weird, actually not even weird, but into idolatry moments in our lives with each other. Because this is where we start running into some of the other issues. In Galatians 1:10, it says, "Am I now trying to win the approval of human beings or of God? Or am I trying to please people? If I were still trying to please people, I would not be a servant of Christ." Do you understand how conflicted that position is? Just that quick of the fact that you're trying to win approval of human beings runs you right into the end of the scripture where it says, if I were still trying to please people, I would not be a servant of Christ. Understand this. The compartmentalized heart leaves doubt in a person's life. Don't you understand that if I've started off with you in a certain way and we're like really exciting, we have a fantastic relationship, I expect that to be the paradigm of our relationship the whole way. That customer service that was there, I have an expectation now. When this thing starts to get compartmentalized and I start to feel it, I'm going to do some weird stuff to you. And that is, I'm going to start trying to do whatever kind of tricks in front of you as an employee or as a business owner or whatnot to actually get to when you start to win your approval back. Because all of a sudden, what did I do? I remember we had a fantastic relationship at one point, and then all of a sudden, it's like I barely even see the owner anymore. It just gets to some weird, muddy places. But now, all of a sudden, you become in this place of idolatry. Because your customer service is off, it's actually throwing everybody else off who's connected to you and who depends on you and who has expectations from you. It changes the course of a lot of people's life. Remember, in the first slide that we started off with is John 10:10, is the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Now, he's already starting to steal the relationship and is starting to destroy that person because when a person starts going into doubt, people start trying to please people. Now you're already operating in a place of destruction because you're away, because it already says in the scripture, if I were still trying to please people, I would not be a servant of Christ. Do you see that jam right there? Because again, you can try to be the best disciple that you are, but then if you're trying to please people, now you're still not serving God. You see that trick there? The enemy is the most craftiest creature in the garden. This is a crafty way of getting your attention away from God. Remember that. That's what the main purpose is. So, your home life starts to decline. Now, this is where life has become weird. We have gotten to such a place because of lack of customer service that your significant other, you and your children are at war. You don't even know why you guys are arguing all the time and why the home life is so weird. And you just say, well, you know what? Kids are teenagers, or the kids will be kids, and my husband and wife will be my husband and wife, and that's just how it goes. And, they just never seem to be happy, so whatever. Okay? So now your home life is starting to decline. Now, it wasn't like that during the honeymoon stage. It wasn't like that to the point where you guys were able to get married or get back close. But then all of a sudden, what's the decline? Why would you ever see a decline in anything? What is missing? That level of customer service. When you start to see that decline in your home life, again, remember the enemy loves this component. As you start to see that decline, that means that their customer service is gone. How do I know that customer service is gone? Have you ever said, oh, my husband or wife, they understand I have to work. They understand I'm a business owner. They understand how much time I have to spend doing this. Now you're in a place of taking that time for granted. Yeah, they understand, but guess what? They still need the time. Attention equals customer service. Your kids. That relationship was really strong at one point, especially when they're first born. But then all of a sudden they start to get older and you say, hey, when you get older, you'll understand. Got to work, got to make some money. You want to go ahead and go to Disney World next year, don't you? Well, now I got to go to work. See you later. Go to school, right? Everybody parts ways. But guess what? Now you're starting to alter the kids' experience as to what customer service and what they should expect. Now we got into some muddy areas. The home life is declined. So now your business life starts to decline. Let's think about that for a minute. Why would your business life start to decline? Doesn't seem real. I mean, everybody's trying to make money, and we all seem to really love what we do. But the business life, now I'm starting to have issues left and right in my office. Well, now my employees aren't taking care of the clients the right way. Why? Because they're upset with me. Because there's some level of customer service because I put all the emphasis on the clients instead of the employees. When actually both need a level of customer service. Don't you know your employees are looking for you to be consistent in all areas? They're expecting that. Okay, fine, you want to put all this effort and all these tools and all these things in place for these clients, but then you get upset with me, you can't communicate with me at the office? Lack of customer service, so they're going to affect your clients that you're trying to build. See, customer service is bigger than just all the products that you're providing. This is a day-to-day life that you're offering. So there's a pride bubble. You start to develop a little compartmentalized, and when you develop a compartmentalized heart, you start to harden your heart. Because now you're starting to feel the attack of all these areas. You're thinking, oh, everybody's attacking me. Nobody wants it. I'm tired of people. My goodness. Okay? So now you're up in arms with your kids. You're up in arms with your significant other, your employees, and also your clients. Now, your clients, you'll go ahead and, smile a little bit differently with your clients because guess what? There's a dollar figure at the end of it. But with your employees, significant other, and kids, they seem to be expendable. What's going on? But your pride bubble, the enemy loves that because you're in an isolated place of idolatry and all the other parties around you are operating in the same light. They're all in pain. So this now becomes the character of your office. Now people come into the office expecting, oh, it's Monday already. Have you guys ever figured out why people come to that place of Monday already? That the part that you play, now there is a different part where everybody just kind of wants their own time. I get it. But part of that Monday is that they're having an issue with experiencing what happens at that office space. That is part of what they're speaking about. What about this becomes the character of your home? Have you ever thought about that before? Where there's nothing but turmoil? Where is that coming from? The customer service pride is now taken, that love is now changed into pride. When pride has a chance to settle and actually develop its weeds and thorns and thistles into your life, now your whole environment has changed. Destruction is now the root of your life. It's not just present, it's the root. It becomes a root. Once pride has a chance to settle, the destruction that pride creates starts to rule over the environment. Your environment is completely changed. So when you think you're like, oh man, I got a lot of issues all over the place, well, pride has now ruled over your environment. There's no longer love that exists there because customer service is not there. In Galatians 5:19 through 21, fruits of the flesh. Not even fruits, but we're talking about from the flesh. That's what it is. The acts of the flesh, I'm sorry about that. Hatred, jealousy, discord, fits of rage, envy, selfish ambition. Now, here's my customer service challenge. In your home, do you have any one of these? If you have fits of rage, some envy going on, some discord, okay, you had odds with your wife, you had odds with your husband. Now, guess what? There's pride there. There's some hatred going on at work and some jealousy. You know how jealousy and all that stuff starts to filter in the office space because we're all 20 different people in one space trying to do one common goal, but we can't come to terms with that. Well, guess what? All these things start to exist. It becomes the culture of your office space because of the lack of customer service. Why does it feel like everything is falling apart? Well, because it is. Let's just be specifically real about that. Pride will make things feel this way. That's what the purpose of pride is. That's why I said in the very beginning, John 10:10, enemy, the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. As long as you start to feel this way, guess what? He's killed everything. Please tune in for our next show. We're going to kind of wrap up this series, I believe, and see what the Lord says about this. But we're going to keep going with this, but you really pay attention to this customer service thing and take inventory. This is the time right now. I want to thank you guys for tuning in today. But actually, I have to get back to work. You guys have a wonderful day. See you later. Bye-bye.